Here we go with the ASICS SUPERBLAST 2. Oh boy, here we go. Man, oh man. So I have had quite the history with this shoe. So as you might remember, I did order the shoe way back whenever it was released, and I ordered a men's size 11, might fit true to size, and well, it was not a good fit at all. There was a tightness in the toes that just could not be resolved, and I had to send it back. Finally, I got the shoe back, and this is paid for by me. It's a size 11 and a half, so I want to half size up, and you'll see all the other global measurements there on your screen. So I'm getting that out of the way, just letting you know that we have had some history of the SUPERBLAST 2 and I, and now that I've had a chance to test it and have it underfoot, oh man, have we got a story for you. The ASICS SUPERBLAST 2. Let's jump right into the full detailed review right now. Oh man, here we go. So starting off with the laces, golly, look at these things. So these are medium length, I would say. They're very athletic, very sporty. They don't have hardly any stretch at all, but they do have quite a bit of cushion despite the, you know, how it looks. It really doesn't look like they have all that much, but they do indeed. The lacing system is great here. You know, as far as it bringing in the upper and securing that midfoot down, we'll get into the fit here in a second, but it did a really good job with that. It has zero pressure on the top of my feet coming from the laces themselves. Now, coming in and taking a look at the actual material that does secure the laces, here we got these flat bands, these little ovals, if you will. It's all one piece, but it's a very lightweight piece here. It's not like a really thick material, thick plastic or anything like that. It's not separated, it's all one piece here. But it also feels very durable at the same time. So I feel like a lot of the things that they do with this SUPERBLAST 2 is in order to keep the weight down. And of course, we'll jump into that here in a second as well. But just gonna point it out as we go along. Having a look at the tongue, this tongue is actually thicker than I would have expected, but man, oh man, is this one of the more comfortable tongues for sure. It's thin, but it's very comfortable, and it's all these key areas, right? So right here, you can kind of see these double pillows here going on as it touches, you know, kind of that lateral medial top of the foot as it enters into the shoe and connects to the lower leg right here at the top. As the laces come down, as I said, you can't really feel the laces, but you definitely can feel these pads going in, and as you're running along, there's no slip and slide, no friction, but they do indeed feel very comfortable. So taking a look inside there, you can see even without the B-roll, there's a gusset on both sides, a very thick gusset, and it's not overly aggressive, it's not super duper tight, but again, it works in unison with these laces, and of course the upper. There's a little bit of ventilation going on with the tongue here, and it's not very thick at all. Again, it feels very comfortable on the top of the foot. So let's actually get our hand into this material. All right, this is where things are going to get interesting, okay? So this is engineered mesh. It's a very airy, look at that mesh, oh man. So these are supposed to be materials that are you know, inspired by the race line from ASICS. Again, designed to be very nimble and lightweight. But with that being said, I do feel like there was actually quite a bit of abrasiveness to parts of the toe box, actually around my right third and fourth toes. You know, as I'm going along, I actually felt some of the material kind of rubbing against the tips of the toes. It wasn't a consistent thing, but it was definitely noticeable. And whenever it was happening, this is on flat ground, not just going downhill, it actually, you know, was semi-uncomfortable. That said, there was actually quite a bit of room with this half size up shoe in the toe box. I didn't have that issue like I had before with my big toe or anything like that. So the excursion was fine, the toe spread was fine. There was actually, you know, quite a bit of room as far as the first and fifth areas as it touches the lateral medial portion of my foot to the outsides here. And there's a little bit of this wing material as it goes from the midsole material up into the upper and it does kind of collect and hold the foot, and it does so pretty much all the way up. In fact, we'll jump into it now. There are some pretty aggressive sidewalls to the SUPERBLAST 2, both laterally and medially, and that is one thing I definitely noticed. So if you're not a fan of sidewalls, you might want to heed caution as far as the SUPERBLAST 2 goes. That said, it didn't feel super duper narrow to me, but it definitely was noticeable, especially in some of the uphill, downhill bits and some of the corners. And by the way, this is not a great cornering shoe at all. So tall. Anyways, but yeah, there are these wings and it does work its way back into the heel. And so let's just jump into the heel collar here. So man, oh man, oh man, we have this semi-flexible, extremely cushioned heel, both laterally and medial, as the heel collar works its way around and down into the little basement, if you will, where that calcaneus sits. There was a little bit of heel slippage, but you know, for me, I think I'm potentially having issues with the fit of the shoe, so I'm not going to knock ASICS for that. It's probably just a me thing. If there was like an 11.25 size, that probably would have worked best. I do feel like the heel is extremely comfortable. It was very, very secure. You know, given what I experienced here, just in general for the shoe. And then, yeah, you have these little wings that kind of work their way back. You know, some companies, they have like a little bit of wing on the lateral medial side, kind of midway through the shoe, and a little bit in the heel, but this is definitely there. It works all the way around. And even as I was heel striking, there was definitely a collection of the heel as it relates to the heel to toe transition. And definitely really, really good as far as control of the foot, keeping it stable, but not overly aggressive when I am doing my midfoot strike, which is more my traditional gait pattern for sure. Great job, ASICS, keeping it light, keeping it nimble, but having a little bit of a tactile difference, if you will, for some people. Okay, pulling out the insert. Hello, insert. Now we're talking. And let's remember that this is a premium shoe. Okay, this is like, you know, one of the top shoes I know of 2020. I know the previous one, and now the Superblast 2 2024. Yeah, so take a feel. Well, not you, but me. But listen, you hear that? That is a quite an abrasive material. It's not really soft at all. In fact, getting into here, golly, it's like petting the dog backwards. Just like some of the feeling, you know, it's like the fur has been like shaved down and you're like just petting the Springer Spaniel backwards, and it's just not a really great feel at all. Maybe that'll kind of loosen up. But it's not a super wonderful feeling. But as far as like the cushioning goes, now this is a really nice bit of cushion. In fact, I feel like the durability of the insert is going to be really, really high. And of course, this heel cup, you know, is very, very stout. It's a like huge, aggressive U shape. Man, look at that. That's like super duper hairpin material going on. And let's see, you've got a nice arch. And let's actually take a peek here inside. What kind of arch do we have going on? Oh boy. Yep, there's definitely a rise of the arch as it relates to the midsole. And of course, right here where my finger's at is that wing material right here, and it does, you know, kind of scoot up in a little shoulder of the material into the arch, and it does a very, very good job. So that said, it definitely felt good in the arch area. I didn't have any complaints at all. In fact, I would say this is one of the better arches. So taking a look at the gussets here again, now that the inserts are out, you can kind of see how it definitely goes down into the top of the midsole, the bottom of the upper, as that insert lays on top, and there's the medial side, and here is the lateral side over here. So again, very high construction quality for the ASICS SUPERBLAST 2, kind of getting in here, and oh, wow, whoa. So without the insert in, I mean, granted your feet are going to be touching that, but man, these are some pretty stout stitches that are very tactile. And I'm not sure if I really enjoy that, you know, on my fingers there. And you can kind of feel that a little bit, as I said before, without the insert in there. So, I'm not knowing if I'm liking that. But again, it's not a very uncomfortable shoe, but just some things that I'm noticing and kind of pointing out along as we go here for the SUPERBLAST 2. Okay, y'all, here we go. The midsole. On the top, we have FF Turbo Plus, a midsole foam that is going to be available in some of the top tier racing shoes from ASICS. And then there's a little bitty layer on the bottom right here of FF Blast Plus Eco, something that you see in the Glide Ride Max and also in the Nova Blast 4, upper right hand corner for the Nova Blast 4 if you are interested in that video. And so the combination and synergy of the foam here was a very interesting experience. It is a very fast shoe, and for me, kind of a slower runner, it made me feel fast. And it also gave me some times to respect that. That said, I feel like it's a very stiff foam. Even after running in it, I feel like it just needs more time, probably several miles to break in, and it's starting to loosen up, but it's just not quite there yet. But that said, it again has just like quite a very unique experience in terms of energy return. Again, you know, I was kind of doing some heel striking and some midfoot striking, and it did really, really well at either. And I feel like this was one of those that, you know, you just don't worry about it and let the shoe kind of do the work for you. Instead of being a micromanager about it, you can just kind of cruise control and lay back and let the shoe do the work. And that's exactly what I was experiencing out there. And it was a very, very interesting experience. And, you know, I'm looking at my times and they're reflective of that as well. So great job ASICS with that. We got 46 in the heel and 38 in the forefoot for an 8mm drop. Whoa, that is a pretty huge stack of foam, y'all. I mean, you can even see like look, it's like, you know, half my face here. As far as like the stack guy goes, it is just a wild, really, really fun foam, and I'm really, really enjoying it. So now that we're talking about the foam, let's take a peek at some of the geometry here. Yeah, so I am digging 2024 with some of these landing platforms. This one's not quite as stout, I feel like, as the Nova Blast 4, the shoe I was reviewing last time, but it is quite pronounced. And I feel like this is really almost necessary as far as having a shoe that is so high off the ground. You got to remember your foot's like way up here. And for me, I do supinate, so I'm coming down on the outside of my foot. So by the time that it arrives, it's this material here. So if this was, you know, synced in here and I didn't have this little flare out, there would be a huge tendency for that to roll over. That said, it's not a very soft foam in terms of collapsing. So that is something ASICS has going for it, but they gotta go ahead and add these little kickstands here, you know, going this way and that way. So wherever your foot shall land, it is going to be collected. And again, I feel very safe and confident and stable in the shoe. It's not a stability shoe, it's a neutral shoe, but I'm just saying as far as it collecting a lot of that wayward gait, if you will. So I am happy to see that in a lot of these shoes, especially the ones with the really high stack heights, and especially those that have the softer foams. All right, so ASICS is doing a very good job there. So just taking a look at some of this geometry, oh my gosh, it is just a beautiful, like blue, minty blue colorway with some super cool patterns, and it's got this fun like tactile feel to it. It's just a very, very premium feeling foam. This FF Turbo Plus, and of course your little layer of the FF Blast Plus Eco on the bottom. Let's throw this on the scale, find out how much it weighs. So here's a men's size 11.5 at 284 grams or 10.0 ounces. All right, 11.5, right? My size is 11.5 here, so 10 ounces. That's not bad. There on your screen are the typical sizes that companies use at men's size 9 for the Superblast 2. A very, very light in the hand, light on the foot, fast shoe that has a lot of energy return and definitely feels good as far as rolling through, and again setting itself into cruise control. So not bad at all, ASICS. Really, really good job keeping this huge chunky shoe lighter in weight. And let's check the durometer. So toe number 5 on the FF Turbo Plus is 35, and then down below the FF Blast Plus Eco is 31. We're working our way towards the lateral heel here. The lateral heel is 28, and below that is 32. The medial heel on the top is 39. Ooh. And then the medial heel on the bottom is 32.5. And around the first toe, at the top foam is 38.5. And then the bottom foam is 36. Interesting stuff. Interesting stuff with the durometers of the Superblast 2. Moving on to the outsole. Oh man, this is probably one of my favorite parts of the shoe. Look, there's rubber where you need it, and no rubber where you don't. And this is the ASICS grip here, and it is a super durable foam. And where it does have grip, there is some very aggressive bits of rubber. So I'm not going to have any doubt that this is going to, be a very durable rubber with a lot of stickiness. There was actually some wettish conditions out there that I did run in, and I had zero issues with it at all. That said, going around corners, it did feel a little bit awkward to me. I would not use this in a super curvy race or anything like that. And then having a look at the outside, there is a little bit of reminiscence of the Novablast 4, Novablast series here with the Superblast. The crevasses here are not nearly as deep as the Superblast 1, so I didn't have any issues with the rocks and debris getting stuck in there, something that the one apparently had an issue with. But again, nothing wrong here. So taking a peek at the outsole. So does it actually protrude? Yes, there is this like trampoline piece in the top here in the front that does kind of protrude, but unlike the Novablast 4 where you really feel this piece here kind of accepting and bouncing away, I didn't feel it quite as much in the Superblast 2. It could be the foam, it could be the geometry, it could be me, it could be the stack height, but I just wasn't feeling it quite as much. That said, I still feel like there was quite a bit of energy return, not so much from this one isolated spot, but from just generally the shoe as a whole. So even though there was a little bit of room, that kind of allowed me to kind of move about in the shoe a little bit, the foam itself, especially whenever your weight and gait was in the right spot, sweet spot for this, it definitely did a good job. If this shoe is going to fit you just right, you're going to have no problem at all with this shoe. So what is this shoe for? This shoe is for easy run. No, actually no. I don't know if the shoe would want you to do an easy run. It just didn't feel like that. But it will be like your daily trainer. It will be your long distance running shoe. It can be your racing shoe. I definitely feel like this is going to be a shoe that will last you a long time. The construction is very, very high quality. The midsole is still like very energetic, and I feel like it will continue to do so for a long time. The outsole, this ASICS grip, oh man, this rubber is going to last a long time. I predict 400 miles, give or take, with this shoe. Yeah, I'm going to say it. I definitely feel like that can do quite a bit of mileage for sure. The price for this shoe is $200. Is this shoe worth it? I would like to see it more in the 175, 180 range, to be honest. Is there a little bit of hype surrounding the shoe? I feel like there is, but ASICS is pulling out all the stops. This is like their creme de la creme shoe, just below the racing series. It's the thing that kind of gets you up. I feel like you can have this shoe plus a speedy shoe, or this shoe alone, just this shoe alone, and that can get you through a lot of the purposes that you need through a training block. You shouldn't have any issues, so you might be able to get away with just this one shoe. But again, I would like to see it a little bit cheaper, if I'm being honest. Okay guys, so that is it as far as the Superblast 2. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that video. If you don't mind, feel free to click like and subscribe to the channel. My name is Jason. I'm a nurse practitioner in podiatry, and I work with feet, but this is a it is a fun-filled family running channel. It is not a medical channel at all, okay? Just so you know that the podiatry piece does inspire my reviews, and that is pretty much it. Okay, so down here we're all about family and coffee and running shoes, and those are kind of the priorities out there. So if you're interested in coffee, I do have a link below for fire department coffee. These guys were kind enough to hook me up, and it's actually really delicious coffee, and I've been drinking it for the last week here, and there's quite a few varieties out there, and they do a lot of good things. Veteran-run company. They support first responders, firefighters, military personnel fighting mental and physical injuries on the job, and doing super good things, y'all. All right, so hopefully everybody's doing well. I will catch you in the next one, and have a wonderful day.